All right, let's get up into this thing today. We are going to be talking about diversify your disappointments, which is part two of the series of talking about your storms and how to get through those storms. We will be talking about that right after this message. All right. So I am super thrilled to be back with you on the second part of the getting through the storms. Like, we need to really have some real talks about getting through storms and what that looks like so that we know some steps, right? Like, how do you actually get through the storms of life and do it in a peaceful way, right? Because sometimes we having storms and, like, if you think about hurricanes and tornadoes, earthquakes, and all of these types of storms and how they done wrecked everything, right? We want to be able to position ourselves to where we're like one of those people. Okay, yeah, they said that there was a storm, they said it was a hurricane, or they said that, but it didn't affect me, right? So that's what we're going to be diving in today. But in the second part of it, talking about it's time to diversify your disappointment, right? We've heard about having portfolios for our money. We've probably heard about, don't put all your eggs in one basket. How many people have heard that, right? You've probably heard that before. But I'm talking about doing the same thing for your disappointments. Sometimes we want to give everybody, or that one specific person, all of our disappointments, and then they in turn live their life feeling frustrated. They live their life feeling like you put so much expectation and weight on them. So I want to be able to help you with that in this next session that we're going to be talking about today in this particular episode. So the first part I really want you to look into is look at your disappointments kind of like a piece of pie. And as what we have like on the screen, a pecan pie, right? So you have a slice, and this is not an apple pie. This is not a peach pie. This is not the lemon meringue. I don't know what your favorite is. You can drop your favorite in the comment and tell me what your favorite piece of pie is. But just for the demonstration, I kind of wanted you to look at this and understand that this is what your disappointments are like. And sometimes we are giving it all the way to the same person and they can't take it. A lot of times when we eat sweets anyway, side note, that can cause like some other type of dis-ease, right? This just having high blood pressure, or it could cause like something else. So I want you to consider that as well whenever we're talking about delegating your disappointments to somebody else. So thinking about that, when was the last time you had a conversation with someone and you have told them you spilled all the tea? And I can think about that. And now that I kind of think about that, hey sis, good morning. So glad to see you on this morning, coach. I have done that with my cousin in the past, right? I have spilled the tea of all the things and I feel like it was all the areas, but now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't in all the areas. You may have that one girlfriend, soror, or something, and you just spill the tea and tell her everything. But sometimes, given all of that person, you're putting all your treasures into that one basket. What happened if that person has their own life and they're just like, now I can't deal with your issues, right? Because they have their own life. And so I kind of want you to think about that as you think about where to delegate and who gets access to these disappointments, right? So you might have that one friend, but who else can have access to those disappointments? Don't just give it all away to one person. That's what I'm trying to say for today. So then you need to decide what you want to achieve in that relationship. So as I have stated about my cousin, for that one, it really was in the beginning. I think it was just like friendship. We had like a lot of things in common. Um, both of our kids, all of our kids were about the same age. And so I want you to decide that too when you are thinking about those disappointments. When I'm giving it to somebody, what is it that I am really truly looking for in return? What I have found is that a lot of times when people are sharing their disappointments with someone, ultimately they are really wanting something from that person, not recognizing what it is that they want. But sometimes we haven't recognized that the person that we're giving the disappointment to and we're delegating all this information to, they don't have the resources, the skills, the maturity sometimes, the transparency sometimes to be able to help you navigate the waters of your trouble. And so I want you to think about that when you are in this space. So you need to decide, what is it that you want out of this relationship? Do you want spiritual insight? Do you want freedom from the past? Do you want to become the best version of yourself? What is it that you really want? And I wanted to share with you this thought for today as well. And it comes out of James, because sometimes when I'm sharing, it's just like, okay, where's she getting all this stuff from, right? So I was thinking about this particular scripture in James 5:16, where it says to confess your faults. In some version, it says confess your sins one to another and pray for another that you may be healed. And sometimes I know when we're confessing our faults to people or sins to other people, you're just like, I'm not getting no real healing from this. Like, I'm just telling them this, but I'm not really getting what I need. It's probably because you're not telling it to, you haven't delegated access to the right person. So I will be talking about that in a minute, like who you should be giving it to, because there are people and resources available for you to get the help you need when you confess it to the right people, right? So you may not be confessing it to the right people. You're getting your frustrations out. You're telling people your faults, but you're not telling them to the right people. And so I want you to be mindful of that. So the word sin, so like in this particular scripture where it's talking about confess your faults, it's talking about sin, it's talking about missing the mark, it's talking about your failure, right? And I know as a people, we want to show up like the queens we are, and we don't want people to see that we are actually struggling out here in these streets. We want everything to be picture perfect. We want to have the spouse, and we want to have the 2.5 kids and the dog and, the good life. But the reality of it is that we actually need to be able to support one another and tell people how we're getting over, right? So that's really like how this video actually came to be, because I'm on struggle street, okay? But here are some of the nuggets and tips that I have learned. And this is one of them. I was like, I need to be able to tell someone that I'm going through and it'd be okay. So I actually was talking to another coach actually, and she just listened, and I didn't realize that what I was sharing with her, she was being blessed, right? And sometimes here's another thing. If you are helping someone, or if that person is helping you, let them know that you help the sister out. Like, you know what I'm saying? For me, she offered me grace, and that's what I needed in that moment. And so I wanted to be able to communicate that with you. Be able to be transparent and let somebody know, like, hey, I'm out here struggling today. Help a sister out. So that's one of the things that I wanted to be able to express with you. Decide who you're going to give it to, and then decide the relationship. What is it that you want to get out of it? What is it that you want to get from this? So some of the people who can help you achieve this, right? Because sometimes we don't know. We may say, MaDonna, I don't even know who to go to in order to have them help me with this situation. So you have your therapist, they can go back in your past, pull you out, and be able to get you on straight street, right? So like they dig and do all the back work, like stuff that happened in your childhood, and help you with that. Then you have your counselors, you have ministers that will be able to give you insight, different perspective, and just give you knowledge to say this is where you are, and here are some things that you know biblical perspective to help you, to guide you in this space. Then you have your coaches, right? There are so many coaches out here that can help assist you with what it is that you're going through, right? They're like, okay, you're here now, boom, you want to get over here, I can help you all day, right? For me, I'm just like, mindset work, like, sis, I can help you all day from getting from here to where it is that you want to achieve, whether it's in business, in your life, however. And then you have your friends. Yes, sometimes they can just offer a ear, but don't be silent. I feel like in this last season of the storm, I really didn't share, even with my friend, like, girl, I'm really going through, like, help, pray for me, like how it says with James 5:16. I haven't even said that. It was just like I was all bottled up. And so that's what I'm trying to say to you. Don't keep it all bottled up. Don't keep it all bottled up. Share that with someone so that you can come through the storm quicker. But determine who you need in the midst of that storm so that you can come through. I did like a really good quote by Dr. Wayne Dwyer, and he has said, if you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you'll see obstacles. And I want to leave that there for a thought, because a lot of times when we're in the midst of our storms, we see what won't work, like what's not working, why isn't working, and we start thinking about all the reasons why it's not working. And guess what? The more you focus on the reasons why it's not working, guess what? The more you get that result. So I want to be able to challenge you that when you're in the midst of a storm, start focusing on what it is that you do want. Start focusing on that. Start writing out visions and dreams and desires of what it is that you actually want, so that you can start moving toward that thing and then obtaining that thing. Because like he said, if you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. But if you don't, you will see obstacles. So I would definitely want to be able to challenge you and encourage you to start writing out what it is that you desire. And I know a lot of times, and one of the things that I didn't put down as an example is to write down in your journal. So sometimes we have purchased a cute journal. We may have bought a really cute pen to go with it. But when was the last time you sat down with yourself and written out the very thing that you desire? Like, this is what I desire. Yes, I'm in the midst of a storm, but what I really desire is to have a 6-figure business. I really desire to have a healthy relationship with my spouse. What I really desire is, I don't know, a better career, like a better career path. Have you written that? Have you written that down? And a lot of times we haven't even done that. So I want to be able to challenge you to write that one thing down. What is it that you want? Here's another example. Sometimes you'll work with, like, the people that I've said. You've worked with the therapist, you've worked with the preacher, you've worked with the counselor, you've talked to your friend, you've hired a coach, you did all the things. But here's the thing, if you don't have a vision for what it is that you want to achieve with these people, guess what? It's kind of like you're back at step one and not having achieved the thing that you hired them to help you with. And I can speak to that point for myself. I have done that quite a bit, and had to learn, okay, what is it that I really want to achieve by hiring this coach? Okay, I hire a visibility coach, and she wants me to get out here in social media and post this many times, or she wants me to do videos this many times, and then she wants me to put it in these different areas. And then I'm just like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, if you didn't want to get the end result, then why did you even hire the coach? You could have just sat at home and used that money and bought a whole nother wardrobe of clothes, or went and got your hair done, or did a massage. So what I'm saying is, don't step up and ask for the right people, because sometimes you don't have the right people. Don't ask for the right people to help you get the result if you are not willing to do the work to get the result, the desired result. And I know maybe I'm just speaking to myself, but what I'm telling you is that sometimes you're not getting the end result because you have not, number one, you didn't believe. You didn't feel like what they was telling you was right, and you think that was wrong. So now you're not getting the end result. You're getting what you were already getting. And I feel like sometimes that's how the rap that we give God. Well, God didn't come through for me. Well, why he didn't come through? Because you didn't do the work. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. So I do want to challenge you with that. And I think I have like one more thing to share with you. And that is, you can't give what you don't have. And I really do want to stress that. And I'm saying that, but what the perspective that I really want you to understand is that sometimes we understand that for ourselves, but what we don't understand it from the perspective of is other people can't give you what they don't have either. You want them to treat you with honor, integrity, show you this love. You want them to come and do all of these things. They can't do it for you because they don't have it themselves. They can't give you, like I was showing you in the beginning, they have a slice of pie. If they don't have a slice of pecan pie, but they had lemon meringue pie, guess what? They can't give you lemon meringue pie when all they had was pecan pie. So sometimes we are frustrated, and that's what we're talking about today, is how, like, being frustrated. You're frustrated, and you need to diversify your frustrations, but some of your frustrations is like it's of no effect. Like, they cannot give you lemon meringue pie. They can't give you apple pie when all they can give you is this. So sometimes you're dealing with negative people and you want them to be happy, you want them to be joyful and all of this stuff. They can't give you that. They don't have it to give. And so once you get the understanding, you're just like, oh, their level of maturity haven't come to that stage. So it's no need for me to kind of even have conversations with them about that, because they don't have what it takes in order to receive the information that I'm giving them, the slice of pie that I would be willing to give to them if they were ready. Some people, that's what it is. You're mad at them about that. Just know that it's not working that way. So you can't give what you don't have, and likewise, they can't give you what they don't have. So sometimes you may be going to a friend, you may be going to a particular minister or something, but sometimes they haven't had that skill set in order to help you right there. So be mindful of that. So my hope is that you giving away your disappointments, and hopefully that you're giving it away this week, either through journaling, through a friend, a coach, a therapist, a counselor, a spiritual advisor, that by you giving it away, that you can now make room for the thing that you want. Whether it's peace or love or success, wealth, abundance, whatever terminology that you want to use, you need to give away, make room for it. Like, you have to give the blame away. You have to go and put it somewhere. You have to actually deal with, you have to actually do the work. Go and put those disappointments somewhere else so that you can actually make room for the other things. So, of course, I deal with that a lot in my program. So, I do want to be able to invite you to book a call with me now, because I am accepting new clients, so that we can get more into depth from getting you from here in this storm to where it is that you want to be. And that is my time, and I thank you for yours. Until next time, peace and be blessed.